Opuali'i. You know, it comes from a very unique Hawaiian phrase, e opu ali'i. And it means literally the chief's stomach, opu and ali'i. But it means being as kind and as generous as a chief should be. It's an integral part of Hawaiian leadership. It's also underlying all of these very important, significant Hawaiian characteristics such as generosity, aloha,
compassion for her people, always being at the ready to listen to their concerns. She wasn't one of those idle bystanders. She was fully engaged as a leader in their lives. She felt their pain. She felt their suffering.
She's a woman that is first and foremost an ali'i and a humanitarian of the highest order. She's a person that always holds her people first.
Pauahi wanted to take care of her people. That was in her will. That was part of her vision. It helps the family, it helps the community, it helps the island.
So when you have all of these underlying tones and you have these characteristics, then you have opuali'i or e opuali'i. It's a chief or a chiefess or someone of high stature that has the kindness in his or her heart to provide for his or her people. And Pauahi, in my opinion, exemplifies that kind of thinking.
Pauahi's life 180 years ago, when she was born in 1831, is as relevant to us today as it was then.
There was a great demise in the population, which was a very, very strong factor and indicator to Pauahi that she needed to help do something about this.
They were exposed to foreign diseases for which they had no immunities, and so it took a huge toll. And so she saw the decline of the Hawaiian people, and she was very concerned that Hawaiians would not be able to compete in the world at that time. The Hawaiian population was not part of the success. They fell behind others in their own country.
Pauahi was gravely concerned about two significant things: the welfare and health and well-being of her people and the education of her people. And so the creation of her will was probably the best premise by which those two issues could be addressed.
She saw that she needed to not take care of a need or their needs. What she had to do is to give them the tools so that they could take care of themselves, and she saw education.
When you think about what she was attempting to do, she was attempting to provide a path of survival for her people. And she wanted to make sure that Hawaiians would be in Hawaii, in the Hawaiian Islands, for centuries to come.
And then she took all of her estate, everything that she had, she left it to the creation of the Bishop Estate, which would then create the Kamehameha schools.
So to create and to found a school and name it after her great-grandfather, Kamehameha the Great, and call it Kamehameha Schools, and for indigent Hawaiian children, and to provide that kind of learning opportunity for Hawaiians, sets the premise and the foundation for cultural learning. So it's a matter of selecting those individuals that can help execute this will so that her people are well taken care of.
When we came on board in 2001, we knew there was a lot that had to be done at Kamehameha Schools. The expectations of the new trustees at that time were enormous, and for a period of time, I think, frankly, people were disappointed because it took time to develop programs to meet expectations. We always knew And you could see it on our campuses. When we went to the campuses and we saw the students on campus, you would see bright eyes and smiling faces. Those were not the faces and the eyes that we were worried about. To really see vibrant faces and vibrant people on our lands, we needed to reach those communities where Hawaiians resided, and we needed to get there as quickly as we could. We have this wonderful gift from Bernice Pohi Bishop of her assets. So we needed to develop a broad-based plan for that. And today, what we look at is developing a plan that would span the whole Ahupua. It stretches from the ocean all the way up to the mountain ridge. So, for example, in Punaluu, where we have an entire Ahupua,
O Punaluu, he aina hiva hiva
When we first got here, the area was totally overgrown. We knew we had our work cut out for us, and at the beginning we was actually like, oh man, I don't know if we really want to do this, it's so much work.
all of those lands had been in agriculture. We decided to restore the water systems to those lands so that we could increase production.
When we came to check things out, we actually saw the water flowing and moving. And again, it was kind of just telling us where the lo'is might be at that time. We heard that there were lo'i in the area. We kind of started to move up towards where we are now. We kind of just made like a line shoulder to shoulder, and I fell into the lo'i behind me. It was real clear that, all we had to do was just take out the grass and we'd be okay. We can almost start planting. And that's what we did. We brought in the Papamahi Aikalo class from the University of Hawaii. And they came in and we rolled all the grass out, literally like a carpet. Brought the water in and we started planting. A lot of the teachers came and they approached us and said, how can we be a part of the place and how can we get our students involved? And there was a lot of Kamehameha schools groups too, a lot of teachers from Kamehameha that approached us. So we started to create days during the week where the students could come out, and that really helped us open the place out, really get the place to a different level. And they're still very much a part of the place today. There's no way we can do this by ourselves. Having them here was a blessing, and still having them continue to come is so helpful. So I think it's a perfect classroom for our people, for our students. They come here and they hear the stories about this place as well too. And the hope is that when the students go home, the students have a chance to talk with grandma, grandpa, uncle, auntie, mom, and dad. And then people get excited and they want to plant taro. They want to work with taro. They want to cook taro. They want to eat taro. Taro is a symbol for Hawaiians. If the taro is healthy, you have all your varieties, it's a good thing. Yeah, it shows that you, first of all, you have the knowledge to take care of things, and you have the ability to feed. Not only just eat but, intellectually as well too, spiritually as well too. You have the connection to the land, to Haloa. I think all those connections are really important for a thriving community.
A good deal of Pauahi's lands are Aina Momona, lands of abundance. Heia, with its fish ponds teeming with life, is a perfect example of Aina Momona.
When some of our programs started here at He'eia Fish Pond, the fish pond was quite a bit different. People treated the fish pond differently, so there was a lot more neglect of this place. Lots of rubbish that had floated up from the ocean or that had been dumped here from over the years of just misuse and mistreatment. The catalyst for change here at He'eia Fish Pond really coincided with the charter school movement and the University of Hawaii at Manoa Center for Hawaiian Studies movement and classes coming down here, charter school kids coming down, university level students coming down, and really starting to malama this place and understand its purpose, its history, and the way that fish ponds can be reincorporated into our lives today.
Makahi o iwa kalua makiki aku nei ua kipo mua wau me ana ke Carol Bright o i hoi ka makua hine o Teresa noho lako ma ke ia aina o He'eia. Ke la wā, ke la kapakai I pili I ka uapo o He'eia. Ua hele mau oia I ka ohi papai ana ka ohi limu I na kakahi aka nui a ua manawau he mea mai ka I ke la manawa no he mea ano hou ke la mea hou no ka mea mako noho ana maka kauna e ole noho ana makane ohe hele I ka hale ku ai no lako he poe kua aina he poe pili I ka aina na ka aina e ho'ola ia lako ia kako nei.
Every year, Paipaio He'eia services approximately 2,500 to 3,000 students of all ages from kupuna all the way down to preschool age keiki. And now over time and through many hands coming here and working here through our educational programs and through the work of Kamehameha School's outreach, we've been able to teach people about this place and let them know that this place is actually a place to grow food. This is a type of place that will feed us into the future. And there are places that can still feed us today. There are places where we can teach our children, we can interact with all of the generations in our family, including those that have passed on. The fish pond does all of the teaching. All of our staff here, we're just the ones who help facilitate people, and the fish pond is the classroom, the fish pond is the kumu, and the fish pond is the source of food and knowledge.
Kamehameha has approximately 360,000 acres of land in the state of Hawaii. A very small percentage of those lands, 1% of them, are actually in urban designations and commercial lands. And the great majority is in agriculture and conservation.
The idea of a project like this started when a decision was made that we should do something up here to help find out what was harming the tropical forest. The forest was dying. So at the table at that time was the federal government, state government, county government, and the private entity, which was Kamehameha School Bishop Estate, to revive the forest and make the forest valuable to help Kamehameha schools educate more Hawaiians. It started in 1977. We planted koa, and we've been planting ever since, till today. And in Hawaiian, koa is a warrior. And what the warriors do, they protect. And the koa forest, it grows tall in the forest. And when branches grow out, it protects the forest. The understorage grows. Then the birds, the wildlife come in. They eat the berries. They fly around and drop the berries on the ground. And new growth grows. That keeps the forest healthy.
Pano kana'au I ka ike ana I ka hana ka po'ema ana ea me ke ano o keia wahi.
We are just the visitors, you know. We're not the kua'aina. And so, therefore, we need to ask permission every time we do it. And so there's that respect that I think we will always have if we go with that kind of mindset. There was this one koa tree that I saw, and it was huge, and I was trying to put my arms around it. I think maybe like 4 or 5 times I was going around, and I still didn't touch it. And so, this tree is about 450 to 500 years old, and it's still growing. So it's telling me that the forest continues to grow even generations past my lifetime.
So when we bring a student up here that's in the 6th grade, 80 years from there, they're going to be 90-something. So we have the opportunity of sharing with them that when they put their hand in the ground to plant the seedling, it's not for them, it's for their grandchildren.
Hiki ke ike lea I ka kikuana ike o ka poe e hana ni ke hana o le lako no I ka poe o ke ia wā ai ole ka hana o na mahope a ka nā hana o na I hiki mai ana I na kene kulia e hiki koke mai ana o ia ka pahu hopu ka ho'opaa ana I ke ia no ka poe a pau I ka wā I hiki mai ana.
Within the Hawaiian community, there's a bias against selling lands, and we know that, and we try to honor that. But if we're not going to sell those lands, then we need to take care of them.
The program name that was chosen is Ho'ola Kamehameha, and that means the place budding up out of the lava.
They started opening it up, taking some of these things out, and making room for the native seeds that's still in the ground to come back, along with propagating and putting some of the native plants back.
It's really a place that's reflecting a name that came out of a partnership. KS was involved, which is what this place is about. It's partnership, caring for the land.
To come down here and see all of the work that the kids are doing, the kupuna are doing, the Ivan and Kyoki folks and Wilds are doing here. It's amazing. I mean, in the span of less than 10 years, they've transformed this place. And just to see all of that hard work that everybody as a community has come to put into this land, like directly into the ground, and to give life and breathe life into this forest again. So that's really inspiring to me too.
What we do as a team is try and also plant seeds of hope, of kuleana, of caring for not only this place but one another, and really connecting again with the kupuna who are forgotten. We sometimes have a large group of keiki in the summer, ho'olauna kona. We have universities from far across the globe come. It's a place where science, education, culture come together. We look at the land and we change our way of being as we respond and learn from these kupuna. And in turn, the trees and this land is responding to being loved again, to being remembered.
It's just one of those things like the rejuvenation, the natural rejuvenation. If you give a place aloha and you malama something, that it will return to its full vibrancy,
We would say, give it a chance and the forest will come back. It's the forest time, it's not people's time. So like I always like to say is, good things take time.
In our commercial lands, it's just another example of reinvesting in your lands to take care of them and to make them more productive. When they are more productive, then we have greater resources.
The area of Kaka'ako stands by itself in that it's unique. Even though we're surrounded by all of these concrete buildings, there's a lot of history behind it. If you really take a closer look at it.
Not many people realize that in Kaka'ako's history, a long time ago, before it was even a light industrial area, There were people who lived there of different ethnic groups, and they lived in homes, and they were actual little communities in the area. But there was also a lot of commerce, and people worked and lived generally in the same area.
People can thrive in all kinds of landscapes. What's important is our relationship with the land. Our kupuna knew this, and we know it.
I think you look out into what you see in urban Honolulu, and there's things that are missing. I think that what happened was we focused on creating a great experience in Waikiki, but we don't have a great place, an urban 21st century village that really incorporates some of the best practices that you can see across the world.
When we talk about thriving people, thriving lands, a lot of that concept, the culture, community, and commerce, we're trying to bring that into the present-day 21st century, progressive urban residential neighborhood in Kaka'ako. Not just doing redevelopment for the bottom line as it meets the mission to educate children, but that we should continually be growing and growing our community, even our small businesses. Working at Kamehameha schools has been an amazing start of a really exciting journey. They're willing to take those risks to uplift those other values, other than just the financial ones, those other values in play in terms of community building. That's a testament to the people who work here, who focus primarily on the mission and what they need to do in terms of not just educating Hawaiian children, but stewarding the land to a point that we haven't seen, I think, in Hawaii in a long, long time.
Several decades ago, a group of people here felt that it was necessary to secure a place for Native Hawaiian people to gather and to work and to have an area in which they can practice the life ways that were familiar to us as a people here.
We started negotiations in 1982, attempting to get the lease. At the time, Kamehameha schools, they had a very different agenda from the trustees today. And they just literally told us up front that they didn't want to lease their lands to Hawaiians, because we were a Hawaiian group coming in. But as you can see, we had some hard heads, so we persevered and actually signed the lease in 1986. And it was tough, like any other organization, coming in here with nothing.
Back then, it was all volunteer. It was a lot of work. We were unfunded, and it was a struggle for about 10 years until we were in a position where we were able to be funded and recognized for the work that we were doing.
We did go through the transition of the trustees, right? That we saw the change in the atmosphere and everything, and new trustees came here. We welcomed the new change and the new spirit.
Critical to our success was working with the community. We didn't want to do something that the community did not want or they felt would further harm the lands. And so we worked with the people there.
We wanted to actually clean the place up and make it available to the community. You see the place today, you would never recognize it when we walked onto this place. Because when we got onto the land, it was just completely overgrown. So we opened the old drains, we talked to the old timers of how things were. In the old days, Kala was raised here. So when we came in and started opening Lo'i's right, the kupuna came back, and we used actually the knowledge of the kupuna to actually open the Lo'i's in the way that it should be opened. And when they saw it coming back, it just it warmed everybody's heart to see the lands come back to what they knew it to be.
Our kupuna were just extremely industrious, resourceful people that constantly had to create their own abundance to provide for their own physical needs and their own economy, literally.
I think some of our goals now is to produce a lot of food so that we can actually feed the communities. And we've always made poi from day one.
We need to be able to be entrepreneurial and develop our own economy and revenue streams so that we can be sovereign and support ourselves.
So we made poi and we have this poi project that cannot keep up because we make really good poi. I have to admit. We make it the old way. We still cook it with wood fire. And one of our projects of making poi is we supply kupuna, especially the ones that are needy, that cannot afford poi. We have a kupuna program. We did this from day one. Deliver to them $1 a pound, they can get poi. We want to be a self-sustaining project that can literally reach out, feed the community, feed the state if we have to.
And so today, in becoming strong, resilient, vibrant people once again, I think it's important for us to be resourceful and industrious.
O kamalo ka piko molokai e na vai lele u ka ohina nani kuahiwi o ke akua ai ai ka mekiu o ka mako e o mai e na ohi o moloka inui ahi aina pule o pau ahilani ko mako ali e o la maui kona aloha no o ke avanu
We will try to reach more and more kids in more and more areas within the state. We may not be building schools everywhere, but we will work with the public school system to develop programs.
From the bottom up, that was the community's idea, was to have this as a learning center. Ho'omanaho School is very important, and it's very important that we have that component here, that we have actually students here using the classroom, you know, throughout the school year, because that's what it started as, and we like to see that continue.
Students actually, they get a lot more confident. I feel like by the time they leave our school, they're a lot more confident in their abilities.
This is kind of like a center on Pauahi's lands, and with our current fish pond and our reef outside, this could almost like be a research center for marine biology. Like, why couldn't we have like people working on PhDs or whatever at the University of Hawaii, camping out here, working with the kids and doing marine studies.
Looking back after 125 years of being in existence, the leadership of this organization had the courage, I think, to understand and recognize that although we've made great progress and we have excellent campuses that serve, 55 to 5,600 kids annually, we are not going to be able to fully achieve our mission. And the understanding was that we have to be able to work in our communities with the students and families that live there and in support of the schools that serve them.
We empower the students a lot, yeah, so they feel that, they really have a say in what they want to do, which is good because sometimes we forget the voice of the kids. New Tech is based around 3 principles, which is student empowerment and responsibility, project-based learning, and technology, one-to-one computing. A lot of the projects, we try to make it as real as possible, so the teachers go out, get the assistance from people within the community, either business people or people within the government. I think the biggest thing coming back to Nanakuli, in the position that I'm in, is that having prior knowledge of experiencing what these kids are experiencing now, the social issues that they're dealing with, or the intensity is much greater than when I was going to school. But it's just having an understanding of what these kids come with. They come to us with more baggage than what an average student would come to. And sometimes we need to recognize that.
I think the importance of understanding who you are and where you come from as that kahua for your identity and your wayfinding experience through life I think are the things that we try to put into our programs because they make a difference.
I am never embarrassed. I am so proud actually, because what I've noticed is a lot of people are trying to give back to the community. The graduates, they're just trying to give back. Everybody's trying to do their own part. We're such a small community. All we want is something good, something to be proud of.
This is our monthly calendar and the things that all the events. We have the holidays and all the stories that we shoot out of school. And over here are just some quotes that John came up with, like good to great. So that's the thing that we'd always use, like making things better. Okay, so on our wall we have our mission, our vision, and values that we have for Sierra Productions. So our vision would have to be knowing that we do stories not only for our school but for our community. What we want to do is try and make sure that we bring things from the past and make it come to future and present.
We're creating a family here, we're not just creating a program. And kids that come in with that respect for the idea of what's going on, the kids that come in with that love for just doing stuff with people and being one with everything around you, not just being an individual, you know. Those are the kids that really start to excel early, but they all have that potential, you know. And I think that's the one thing, you know, when you talk about heart, the biggest thing in Waianae, it really comes back to, you know, family and love and friendship and all of that stuff, and the heart that they bring to, you know, school every day, the passion they bring to something that they really like to do, you know. The talent that they have, all of that stuff, you know, once they realize that they can do just as much as anybody from any other school or any other place nationally or, you know, even internationally, then you see that light bulb click, and then that's what I always like watching.
It's very difficult to manage thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres of land. One of our goals was sustainability and, of course, taking care of our lands.
Here in Kahalu'u and Keoho, we have these ahupua'a that really functioned at a very high level in terms of being able to support society. And I think as a cultural landscape, that's one of the things that makes these lands in particular very, very special.
Right now we're in the area we call Kianaki'i, and it's just smoke of Kahalu'u Keoho Forest. And this is a place where in 1819, when the kapu was abolished, our kupuna brought their ki'i here to a safe place. I guess Christianity was coming into play, and some of our kupuna wanted to hold on to the old ways. Yeah, it's not easy to get to. Today we drove, but if you think about them walking through Kahalu'u Keoho, that I'e'e forest, on this a'a, down into this lava tube and into that ana, it's a special place because it was safe and it kept their ki'i safe.
We look at our work with the preservation of our natural assets and the restoration of our cultural assets as really becoming platforms or foundations for ongoing educational programming. When you restore a site and you bring it back to life, it all of a sudden engages people in ways that are just remarkable. And it gets them interested in learning about their culture and really in the process learning about themselves.
It took us less than 5 months to restore Hapai'i'iheo. One of the colleagues of Antipua, she began to take measurements on Hapai'i'iheo, and she saw that by finding center point on the hill, that she predicted that the sun was set on the west wall of Hapai'i'iheo. It indicated this would be the equinox. just from that indication alone, we began to take readings on every solstice. So the south corner is the winter solstice during the time of December. Equinox, there's twice, there's in September and March, and the summer solstice in June. And we found out that from these observations, it still works.
So in the process of restoring these sites, it's really about unveiling the Ike knowledge of our kupuna. And then taking that and moving forward, integrating those into rich educational programs, experiences for the public, where we are able to honor that Ike and honor our traditions in ways that are quite unique, quite frankly.
I think what's special about the Moku of Wailua in relation to Pauahi's lands and her trust holdings is that there's so much agriculture here, and there's so much fertile land here. Despite the fact that we no longer have pineapple and sugarcane, we have all this diversified ag. And I really feel like that's so important when you live on a small island like this and you see all the urban settings, which are necessary as part of our modern life. But I feel like this is such an important part of Pauahi's holdings because it's what's going to feed our children for years to come.
So Anuhulu Valley is important for us, especially from Kanaka Maoli's point of view, and the purpose of making sure that we preserve the history and the sites that are out there. And there's a number of cultural sites that are researched and stabilized. And we're in the process of making sure that we're able to continue on that stewardship in Anuhulu. So similar to the place where we're at today, Lokoea Fish Pond, it's a place that we want to make sure we connect people with, a place that was significant to our people long ago. For example, it was a refrigerator for this community and also for the Ali'i. So we're in the process of restoring the fish pond and eventually making it productive so people can be able to be fed by that once again.
I've lived here my whole life. I've seen many changes. I was here when the plantation shut down, and I think there were times when the community maybe wasn't sure what the future would look like. You know, they were a little afraid to move forward. And so it's nice to see that things continue to change, but in a positive way, and the community is still moving forward.
We start talking about Hawaiian, Kula Hawaii, we talk about the traditions, we talk about the culture, we talk about Olelo Hawaii, and we also talk about Hawaiian worldview. Whatever you're going to get involved in, you're going to do your very best, you're going to strive to be the very best, you're going to prepare yourself. And unfortunately, too often, we don't associate that type of worldview with being Hawaiian. And I'm saying it is very, very much Hawaiian.
And so that's the great thing about being Hawaiian and about understanding, our mo'oku auhau and where we come from and where we are today and why everything that we are is the essence of all that came before us.
He mea maikai e ho'omanao I na aina I ho'oilina ia mai no kako kalahui Hawaii e ola nei ke I manawa. Pela no e ola I na kamo'omeheu na loina a kako.
Land has always been important to Hawaii. From the land, it's a cycle.
Our ancestors taught us if we take care of the environment will take care of us.
I think there's been so much learning along the way of what it means to be here, what this resource means to us, and what it means to be able to be on the land and take care of it and manage it as a community.
To come and see a community of people working together, working on the Aina and working with next generations, perpetuating the work of our ancestors. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that's going on here.
You know, it's not like she's left. I mean, we don't think of her as gone. We see her in almost everything that we do for the school.
She is here present with us every day, and we use her for our guidance, and we use her to make sure that we are on her path.
Would Pauahi like this? Would Keali'i Pauahi be proud of this? Would this be something that she would smile at and say, "You did good"? I hope that someday, when I pass on, I'll meet up with her and she'll give me a nod of approval. "You did good."
Wonderful progress to that end, but we're so far away from that finish line.
We see thriving people. We see many Hawaiians, but we're not comfortable with where we are today. We want to see many more become successful. We don't want to reach just a few. We want to reach as many as we possibly can.
I think it's made such an impact in our children and our kids. And I'm talking not only those students who attend Kamehameha schools, but we have our preschool children at our 31 sites. You know, we have outreach programs that reach out into the communities.
You know, our programs are not only about Hawaiians. Our programs also are about the people of Hawaii. And so while we focus on the Hawaiian people, we're touching everybody. When their lot is improved, it improves the entire community.